Hi, everybody. Hope you're doing marvelously well. I'm very excited because today we're going to be talking to one of my favorite singers, Miss Thelma Houston. Thelma is a Grammy Award-winning artist who had a massive smash hit with Don't Leave Me This Way, which was a worldwide #1. And of course, she won the Grammy for her vocals on it. Incredible. So let's get talking to Thelma. Do you mind if we sort of touch on kind of your journey? Because it's pretty interesting because, you'd already had 2 kids before you even started recording.
That's true. 2 kids. I was married. And what's so funny is that growing up, I was always encouraged to sing. Oh, yes, get them. Oh, she can sing. Yeah. Oh, yeah, good. Every choir, every wedding, every funeral, all these things from growing up, from 3 years old. But then when I became an adult and I said, I think I'm going to give this singing a try. I was like, what? Have you lost your mind? Sing what? And to who? So, it was very funny, but then I won my mom over because my mom came to a club and she saw me perform and she thought, maybe I think you can. Yeah, and she became my #1 fan. And because of my mom's help, she helped me take care of my kids, and that freed me up to be able to pursue the career in the way that I wanted to do it. I never wanted to be the parent to drag my kids in and out of I just didn't want my children to have that kind of life. I wanted them to be stable and in one place, going to school, that's what I wanted for them. And my mother helped me with that. And so that's how I was able to do it. And yes, I was married and divorced and 2 chillins, as they say.
Wow. That's incredible. But it wasn't, even that wasn't overnight. I mean, I was thinking about it, because you've been doing wrong for so long, where you've been nominated in 74. It's a testament to just how great of a singer you are, because the song was like a moderate hit. It went to number 64 in the Billboard charts, but people could hear, they could hear your voice. It's incredible that you were nominated on something that wasn't even a top 40 hit.
That's true.
It's really, it says a lot. When did you first sign to Motown? Was it very late 60s, like 69 or 70?
I joined Motown when they moved from Detroit to Los Angeles.
I see.
And it became Mo West. And I was signed to the Mo West label at first.
Yeah. Your first album you did with Jimmy Webb.
That's right. That was Sunshower, ABC Dunhill. Was Steppenwolf, 3 Dog Night, Mamas and the Papas, and Thelma Houston. Yeah, I was the odd one on the label.
That's amazing. That's wonderful. I'm a huge fan of Jimmy's as well. What an incredible songwriter and producer he is as well.
And producer, he was. And he was like 21 at that time. And he had all those hits already, yeah.
So what's it like coming from, you're in your 20s, you're just freshly divorced, your mum's looking after your kids, and now suddenly you're like, boom, on the West Coast making a record with Jimmy Webb?
I was grateful, of course, and I felt lucky, of course. I felt blessed, all those things. But I also felt that Jimmy was glad to be working with me as well. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
of course.
Yeah, so we had that mutual kind of respect. And that was my very first album. So I kind of thought that that's how it was going to be. With every label that I went to, So after Sunshower album and that kind of treatment and from the producer, first of all, having only one producer, which was Jimmy, to going to Motown where, they just like getting that single and you have a multitude of producers. It was a whole nother different approach Always respectful, though. I must say, I was always respected for my talent, my performances in the recordings and everything, and being professional and all of that. But they also wanted you had to be respectful of whoever that producer was that was producing you, which might be someone who this was their first time in the studio with someone. But there was a person at the label that felt that they had a song worthwhile for you being in the studio. And so you had to be as respectful with that person as you would with any other top producer. Do you know what I mean? So that's kind of the way it was at the label at that time.
Another thing, I was reading your bio and stuff. Another thing that struck me, being English, of course, was that you did a TV show with Marty Feldman.
Yes. Some of my best times from that Sunshower album, and I went to England. England was my first country that I went to. Oh, and I was treated so well. The BBC, when I did the Marty Feldman show, the BBC gave me a little 15-minute special.
Fantastic.
Yes, and that was unheard of over, like in the States. You don't have a hit record. You don't have, but they gave me that. Yes, the British have always been very good to me. But the song that I had, my first single that was on the Capitol label, was a song called "Baby Mine," and "Baby Mine" is still being played in northern England. They call it Northern Soul.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's still being played. My journey through this, and I gotta be very honest, has not been one of like I was, it wasn't a lot of clawing or knocking on doors and please look, listen. But I also think it was a different time. It's a different time. It's almost, to me, it seems as if talent is kind of down on the totem pole a little bit. The mostly thing is about how many people can you get to follow you. It's all about popularity. And no matter what you're pushing, if you can get people to follow you and you get enough of them following you, then you're a big major star. And it was and when I was coming up, which was 90,000 million years ago, it was a lot different. It was about your talent.
I think a combination of having an incredible voice and being somebody that people are rooting for you and they're trying to find ways to help you succeed because of those things. I think I actually talk about that a lot. Being a good person and combine it with talent is going to take you a lot further than just, you know what I mean?
You're right. Even if you're super, super talented and a nasty person, people, once because that only lasts so long. And then at some point, it's not going to be there. And then what are you going to do? Those people that you were doing that, being nasty and all that with, on your way up the ladder, those are the same people. It's so true. The people that you meet going up the ladder are the same ones you're going to meet coming down. People think that that's just cliche, but it's very, very true. All you got to do is keep living. If you lived as long as I have, then you'll know that it's very true. So it is better. To me, it's better to be nice to people than it is to be, unkind.
Absolutely. You said that you were scrubbing your floors when you got the call that you had won the Grammy for Don't Leave Me This Way. I'll note that you were up against, you're correct, not only Aretha Franklin, but Natalie Cole, Diana Ross, and Dorothy Moore. So I suppose the obvious question is, why weren't you at the Grammys?
Because I didn't think I was going to win.
I suppose that's a pretty logical answer when you're up against Aretha, Natalie, Diana Ross. I had been nominated before,
and I was up against Aretha and maybe I don't know who else before. And it was in New York. I was very excited to be there, and I was excited to be nominated. And but then I thought, okay, now that I didn't win that one, so now I don't know if I can sit there, because you know what happens when they announce who the winner is, and the winner has to walk up to the stage to get their award. It's a little while, because depending on where they're seated, right? So while they're walking up, they don't want to put the camera on them walking up. They put the camera on the people that were nominated. And so you have to sit there and you have to be
gracious and yes,
gracious and, and I thought, I don't know if I can do that this time. So I'm just not going to go. Because I really honestly did not believe I was going to win. And so I was at home and I was scrubbing my kitchen floor when I got the call that I'd won. Because that year, the Grammys, you know how sometimes they give the R&B awards, that sometimes they might be a telecast sometimes, and it depends how it works out. Sometimes it might be they give the country, before, they might give the music, the classical before, whatever. Anyway, this year they were doing the R&B precast awards. And so I so that's how I was there because I was going to be watching TV. I was going to be, watching it, but that came earlier. And I was like, what? It's a lesson to everyone.
Sure.
When you're nominated for something, especially something like that, go. Because you don't want to feel like a fool when you win. And people ask you later on, years later, where were you? Oh, I was at home scrubbing my kitchen floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's also kind of cool because it shows humility. It shows humility. I get it. If, you're up against four of the biggest heavyweight singers of that time, of course you're good.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it shows. I like it. I mean, obviously, it would have been amazing if you were there, but I love the sense of humility you had. I think that's absolutely beautiful. So I suppose the logical thing is, let's find out what are you working on at the moment. I heard that you're back working with Jimmy, which is incredible.
Of all the things, we released a new single during this pandemic. And the song is on our first album, on the album Sunshower. Jimmy had written a song that was a tribute to his father. His father is a minister. And the name of the song is Someone is Standing Outside, which tells about how we need to be kinder to other people, and that which is, I think, is the message for now. And so that's why we redid it. Jimmy, and we just did it with the piano track this time. Jimmy redid the track. He was in New York. I did the vocals in LA. The background singers were in Canada, and the producer was in Nashville, Tennessee. And that's our single. It's out now. And then the other thing that I've done is, so as not to go stark raving mad, I did a virtual show, which I thought I could never do. I was like, virtual. I was like, what? What's the band? What the band's gonna be? Where? I'm going. What? I thought about it, and we put something together, and I'm really very happy with it. It's a little bit of Motown music. It's a little bit of gospel. A little bit. It's all a part of it's almost like a musical history of myself.
We'll have a link down below for people to go and check it out, of course.
Oh,
and the single.
Good.
And the single. I must ask you, obviously growing up in England and being a fan, the Communards did a cover of the song with Sarah Jane Morris in, I think, 86. And they went on record saying they covered the song because they were fans of yours.
Well, let me tell you a funny story. I forget the country. But anyway, we were both there at the same time. And they were performing. And I went to their performance. And I told the manager that I was in the audience. Well, they knew that I was there. So they gave me a microphone.
Oh, wow.
And when he started singing Don't Leave Me This Way, I got up from my seat and started, and he was like, oh! He was so shocked.
My hairs are standing on end.
But it was so
that
fun.
Must have been amazing.
It was so much. Oh, it was. It was so much fun. It was the best thing. And I felt, I was very happy that he received it so well. And that the audience, everybody loved it. It was fun.
What did you think of it? Because it was sort of, it was, I suppose, new wave production,
No, it was good. It was good production. It was good. I liked it. That, that song to me it's been a lot of different people have recorded it, and it's always sounds good. I think that's to the credibility of the song. It's a good song.
It's an incredible song. On the new single with Jimmy, how did that idea of the choir come about?
It was Jimmy's idea, and that choir, I think they had sent him some music of them.
Oh, okay.
He liked them a lot, and he wanted to use them, but he was waiting for the right opportunity for them to, and this was perfect. Everybody loves them. When that choir, when they come in on this one, because it's different than the original recording. They add a lot, bring a lot to it.
Did you and Jimmy feel like you wanted to do that song again because you felt like you could elevate it and realize it in a completely different way? What was the sort of thought process about doing it?
My wanting to do it was strictly because I was sitting here in my house and I was bored stiff. And I saw Yo-Yo Man on PBS. He was doing an interview on, I think it was PBS. And he was talking about how some of his friends in the music business were sending him pieces of music that they were doing at home. And he would sometimes play it on the TV. And I thought, Jimmy, maybe we can do that. So I called Jimmy and asked him, let's do something so we could do it on, and maybe Yo-Yo Mom will play it on PBS. And so Jimmy, he thought, well, that, he liked the idea of doing something, but he wanted to do it for a bigger thing. And I think for him, seeing the Black Lives Matter and seeing this something, there was a specific something that Jimmy lives in New York, and I think I can't remember exactly but something specific happened that made him. This is what he wanted to do, and then that's why we came together, because we felt that these lyrics and the timing and all that was a good time to do it, redo Beautiful. It again. And his reasoning was much more of a humanity thing than mine. Mine was because I was bored sitting in my living room and I wanted to do something. Which
I think is great, and I appreciate the honesty. I mean, you're a creative. You're an incredible singer. You want to sing.
Yes. Yes.
To me, sounds very logical. You started performing in a gospel group. Is that correct?
Yeah, I used to sing gospel. Yeah, I was with a gospel group. But that's how we did. One of my first album was made with a gospel group. Yeah, the Art Reynolds Singers.
Oh, that was it. Yeah. And that's how Dunhill Records found you while you were singing with them?
Dunhill Records found me through my manager. His name was Mark Gordon. And Mark Gordon was the manager of the Fifth Dimension.
Oh, wow.
And the Fifth Dimension had Up and Away. And that was produced and written by Jimmy Webb. So Mark Gordon is the one that hooked me up with Jimmy Webb.
Incredible.
And that's how we got the deal at ABC Dunhill. Did you know that I did something with Morrissey?
Oh my God, no, I didn't.
I did a recording with Morrissey, one of his last singles.
Oh, wow.
Bobby, Don't You Think They Know was the name of it.
That's absolutely incredible.
Now ask me how that happened.
Yeah, how did that happen?
I've gotten more into writing than I did previously. So I was writing with this guy. His name is Gabe Noel. And Gabe is a big fan of Morrissey, right? So we covered one of Morrissey's songs called Suede Head. And we did it in our act in a club. And we got got good response from it. The name of our group was 42. That's the group that Gabe and I had. And the reason for that is because that's the difference in our ages. I'm 42 years old. I'm 42 years older than he is. So it's just that the fact that these people from totally different perspectives could come together and make some music. And so that's what we did. And that's how I got introduced to Morrissey's music. And apparently Morrissey, he heard it. And he asked me to be on his album, on his single. So there, told you something you didn't know, right?
It's beautiful. Did you do it here in LA?
Yeah, we did it here in LA. And this was before COVID.
Right. Did Morrissey come out for the recording?
Morrissey was there.
Beautiful.
Yes, and he was there, and Morrissey had me, and when he had a big concert here at the Hollywood Bowl. And he asked me to do the party afterwards for his party. And I did. And so it was fun.
Well, thank you ever so much. I really, really appreciate it. For everybody watching, there's going to be links to, well, now there's going to be a link to the Morrissey single as well, but there's also a link to Jimmy and Thelma's new single. Thelma, I really appreciate your time. Thank you ever so much.
Well, thank you, Warren. Nice talking to you. I enjoyed the interview very much.
Thank you very much.